Y'all wondering what I'm talking about? Should we start now looking into people's actions before we take to the streets? Should we really, before we take to the streets in a police killing, should we now just start looking at people's actions? Like, okay, wait a minute. What was you doing? What's up, fam? Should we look at what was you doing before we become outraged? Ain't gonna be no scamming up in here, my man. Ain't gonna be no scamming. I'm saying, should we look at people's actions before we come outraged? Because there's a story. Now, the police are saying 5 young black men was in a parking lot with guns, flashing guns at people, and even started chasing somebody with the gun when they came up. And when they came up, they took off and they started to run. The police, when they got out of the car and they started to run, the police are saying that they ordered the young man to stop. They said the young man turned around and pointed a gun at him, and that's when he shot him. The video camera is not being released, but yet black people are taken to the streets, yelling police brutality. Now, who should be held responsible in this case? It's the same situation when mothers come to funerals and they have a gang, their sons throwing up gang signs, and they're like, "Oh, my baby, my baby, my baby," but it's kind of like you knew why your baby got killed. Now, what I'm saying is, where do responsibility begin? If you allow yourself to live a certain lifestyle, that certain lifestyle is going to come to a clash. Either it's going to come to a clash with the police, or it's going to come to the clash with another black person. So who should be held responsible? What I'm basically saying is, black people, we need to start taking responsibility. You can't keep crying wolf because you put yourself in certain situations to get killed by the cops. You can't cry wolf when you put yourself in certain situations to get killed by other black people. Somewhere in this community, we got to start saying, yo, someone got to take responsibility for what they're doing. I don't know what they was doing. I don't know if the cops shot him or not. But if we talk about most of these police killings, most of these police killings that y'all have been protesting for, I'm not saying these people didn't deserve to be killed. I'm not saying they deserve to be killed. Most of these people put themselves in these positions. And then we also have to look at this. This is another thing. When you go out here as black people, should the families of these people who get millions of dollars, are they responsible to put that money back in the black community? It's a business now. Let's be real about it. It's a business now. It's a business now. It's a business transaction. Your son, your daughter, and y'all might not like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. Your son, your daughter, because if your son or your daughter gets killed by a black person, you better have insurance. No, it ain't too far. This is the truth. You better have insurance because no one's gonna pay for it. No one's gonna give you millions of dollars. Now, I'm not too far because this is something we got to talk about. Because when black people kill other black people, you better have insurance because you're not getting millions of dollars. You're not doing it. No one's going to come to your aid. No one's going to take to the streets to try to find out who killed your loved one. No one's going to even want to watch a social media post. But if you get killed by the police, you probably weren't even worth. Probably was never going to make $1 million in your life. You probably weren't never going to see $1 million in your lifetime. But it's a business transaction. So if black people take to the streets and protest for your loved one, are you required? Are you responsible to put money back in the black community? Yeah, if you're getting $200 million like the George Floyd family, now is George Floyd's family responsible for putting some of that money back in the black community. When you're getting all of this money, because it's black people who take to the streets, right? It's black people, we go to the streets, we protest, but then you don't put none of the money in the community because you know why your loved one was killed. That's what y'all don't understand. The families know why their loved ones was killed. They don't want to tell you, but they know why their loved ones was killed. Now, they don't even put the money back in the community to try to prevent it from happening again. They don't put money in the community for education. They don't put money in the community to help some type of schools. So if we're going to march for you and we're going to yell justice for your family, I think you're responsible for putting money back in the black community. You're responsible for helping the black community because you're asking us to help you. So, okay, fine, we'll help you, but what are you going to do for us? What are you going to do for us? No, it ain't foul. It's real. Benjamin Crump is making Benjamin Crump, since these police killings started, Benjamin Crump had a net worth of $22 million. Benjamin Crump got a net worth of $80 million right now. $80 million. Y'all taking it as a business? We need to take it as a business. Everyone's getting paid but the black community. Everyone's getting money off of this but the black community. You ain't putting no money into the black community to stop police brutality. What have you done to stop police brutality in the community? But let's be real about it. Let me be real about it because I'm already running afoul of y'all. Let's be real about it. Most of the police killings have been black people's fault. They put themselves in that position. Until we gonna start taking outside Elijah McClain, outside Antoinette Jefferson, outside of Botham Jean. I'm not saying these people deserve to die, but outside those three, the majority of them put themselves in those positions. When we gonna be real about it? When we gonna be real about it? There's something wrong in the black community if we don't deal with what's wrong in the black community, there's always going to be police brutality. It's always going to be police brutality. But we don't want to deal with the behavior of the blacks. We just want to deal with the behavior of the police. Philando, you know what Philando's problem was? Everybody knows that you need to have a damn registration. When he got in that car, he knew that car wasn't registered. So, and I know a lot of blacks who do this, who will get in a car and they know the damn car is not registered and they don't care. And they will drive the car and act like it's the police's fault for pulling them over for not having a registration. They will act like it's the police's fault for pulling them over for not having their car registered. Now, I'm not saying Philando should have got killed, but when he put himself in that car, he put himself in that position. And that's what people don't understand. Our behavior puts ourselves in the position to be killed by the police. If anytime, this is what I don't understand about black people. No. Anytime, this is what I don't understand about black people. We claim the police are always fucking with us. Then why not we make sure that there's no reason for them to fuck with us? When you get in a car, and it happened to me 100 times. I done seen black people, when my taillight went out, black people got behind me and said, hey man, your taillight's out. Get that car off the road. And I say, thank you, sir. I say, thank you. And took my ass home, fixed my taillight. But we feel like the law doesn't pertain to us. So we can drive with no license. We can drive with no insurance. We can drive with no tags. And don't say, oh, it happens to other races, because I'm not talking to other races. I'm talking to black people. Okay, if someone wants to talk about what the other races do, let them go do that. I'm talking to black people. Okay? I'm trying to save black people's lives. So if you know your registration is out, why would you drive the car? Why would you drive the car? You know you got a tail light out. Why would you drive the car? You know you got your headlight out. You know you ain't got no license. You know you ain't got no insurance. Why take the chance? Why take the chance if you say the police are killing us? Why take the chance to put yourself in that position if you think the police are killing us? Huh? Why do it? Tell the people, hey, okay. Tell the, hey man, I can't take you nowhere. I ain't got no insurance right now. I ain't got no license right now. I ain't got no driver's license right now. I ain't even supposed to be driving this car, man. My point is that no one should be killed by the police, but when we're going to draw the line and start making people take personal responsibility for their actions? Like the brother in LA who got caught with the 9mm. He didn't have that 9mm to kill police. He didn't have that 9mm to unalive white people. He had that 9mm to unalive black people. And the police caught him with the 9mm and they unalived him. Now, should we go take to the streets and protest for him? You was going to unalive some more black people. You was going to unalive some black people. But here we are. Oh, it's okay that he unalives black people. The police shouldn't have did that to him. What you think he had a 9mm for? Riding on a bicycle. What you think he had it for? That ain't a stupid argument. We're protecting people who want to kill us. You're protecting people who want to kill us. So you're protecting people who don't give a damn about the black community. Don't give a damn about the black community. They run around the black community doing all types of stuff. And then when something happens to them and their families know they doing the bullshit, but when someone happens to them now, I need black people, we need to get to the streets and rah, protest. Wait a minute, your damn son killed like 3 black people his damn self. Hey man, ain't got nothing to do with me. So shouldn't we require a background check before we run to the streets? Shouldn't we require a background check? Nah, we're going to set this one out. We're going to set this one out. We're going to set this. But at the same time, over 50 black kids under the age of 12 have been killed by stray bullets and drive-bys. And yet you ain't heard from Benjamin Crump. You ain't heard from none of these people who have lost their kids to the police. And you ain't heard from no groups that Black Lives Matter. These organizations gets no plug. A 7-year-old girl, a 4-year-old girl just lost her life in Maryland, I believe. Maryland. I got people calling me, want to argue about Breonna Taylor, and a 4-year-old girl just lost her life. Why do I want to argue with you about Breonna Taylor? Because we don't want to deal with the truth of Breonna Taylor? The bottom line of Breonna Taylor, she got involved with a no-good man that dirtied up her name. The police shouldn't have been there, yeah. Correct, the police shouldn't have been there. They lied to get the warrant. But yeah, but if she wasn't with a no-good-ass man, they wouldn't have been there in the first place. But we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to deal with that. All of these black women out here in jail right now because they wanted to hang out with dope dealers. They wanted to hang out with the bad boys. And when that bad boy life comes, the police come too. If you want to hang around with someone dealing dope, you going to jail. It has consequences in the game. It wasn't the wrong house. It's consequences to the game. It's consequences to the game. But we don't want to, but instead of like, oh, we need to start talking about these bad boys fucking up these girls' lives. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about these bad out here girls' lives. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Why don't we want to talk about that? Huh? We don't want to talk about that because why? What says you?
You're speaking the truth, man. You're speaking the truth. I don't want to say because I'm not black and I don't know your culture and or everything, but I'm from Europe and you are speaking the truth. I see everything you say in America, I see in Europe. We just don't want to talk about, if you know what I mean.
Right. We want to make excuses for everything.
Yeah, I mean, every time I see my sisters, white sisters here, uh, they want to say like equality and all that bullshit. They want to be like, why I ain't get no pay like you? Well, because you're not putting the work that I am putting the work in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you on that.
And I don't want to say something like black man is not putting the work. You're putting the work in it, but I think the white man is putting you down. I mean, the white man is like putting you down in the media. Like they want to say all the white men are racist. No, we're not racist, you know. But they wanna say we are racist, so you can be a victim. You're not a victim. Believe me, you're not a victim, but you want to be a victim.
Well, there are certain things. Well, he's gone good, good, because I didn't agree with that. But the point is, responsibility is everything. Responsibility is everything. You know, from the school system, everyone talk about this from the school system to the time you get out of the school. Responsibility is everything. It has to come a time that we're gonna have to sit down at a table and discuss. Hey, man, why is police brutality happening? And you just can't blame the police. You cannot blame the police when you're sitting on the corner in a car, smoking and drinking, got illegal guns, and the police pull up on you. You get out running, and then something happens. Now we blaming the police. But why was you on the corner smoking and drinking? You know you ain't supposed to smoke and drink on the goddamn corner. And then your mama, my baby ain't hurt nobody. And then we know the other side don't play right, so they release your baby's record. Hey man, this dude been in and out of juvenile hall since he was 12. He been in a pen. Yo, baby, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't know if I want to go out and protest for that brother. I don't know what happened, but it seemed like it was karma. It seems like it was a little bit of karma. Karma, whatever it is. It seems like it was a little bit of it. A little bit of it. It seems like it was. Y'all remember Freddie Gray? Y'all remember Freddie Gray? When they almost tore down Baltimore for Freddie Gray? Freddie Gray was the biggest dope dealing, was one of the dope since he was 12 years old. I ain't seeing what should have happened to him. But when we gonna do something to stop that? What says you?
Good night, brother.
Wait, what?
I see you trying to blame the black community for standing up
Hey,
for
wait,
the
wait,
rich.
wait, but hold on. First of all, where you from? Where you from?
I'm from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago.
Where you live at?
Trinidad.
Okay, so what's your point?
My point is, right, black
Right?
people all over
Mm-hmm.
the world, right, is
Mm-hmm.
suffering and going through the same thing you're all facing in your community, right?
You're
Because
facing it
why?
by black people though.
What?
Black people rule Trinidad. It's
Black
all
people
black, right?
rule.
Right. It's
My point
no,
is,
no, no,
right?
no, no. Wait a minute. I'm gonna let you ask. But how? What's the percentage of blacks people in Trinidad?
What's the what?
The percentage of black people in Trinidad,
100.
100. So
Yeah.
my point is, if you're suffering in Trinidad, it's your fault.
No,
It's 100% of you. Why
it's not
can't you get
our
together and
fault.
do something?
It's it stems from now. It stems from way back. It's not a now.
Way
It's
back
you.
for what?
It's not a now. It's you because you grew up
Okay,
in a
let me ask you this.
system.
Let me ask you this. Who? So 100. Trinidad is 100% black. Who owns the hotels? And when people come to Trinidad, who gets that money?
Says over.
Who?
Uh-huh.
Who gets the money from the tourism that comes to Trinidad?
The 1%ers.
The who?
The 1%ers.
So, like Malcolm told Martin Luther King, you're a big elephant scared of a little mouse.
Bro,
We a little mouse
this
fighting a
is
big elephant.
not why I'm coming to draw to you, right?
No,
My
because
point.
when people like you come on and want to tell me what's going on in
No,
my
because
country,
you
what's
talking
going on with
under
my people in America,
you
when they
talking
live in a country where it's 100% black and they talk about black people are
you
poor.
just being ignorant to the fact that
No, because I'm telling the truth. It's
no,
like if someone was to come
you
on
just
here,
being
wait a minute, brother. If someone was to come on here from South Africa and try to tell me why black people in America are poor, and they're like damn near 80% of the country, and they're allowing they damn near 90% of the country, allowing 1% of the country to rule them. I don't believe
bro,
that person has the right to talk to me because that
Man,
person's solution is a clear cut solution.
bro, bro,
That's a
bro,
clear cut solution.
bro.
If
You
I'm
don't
99%
understand.
of
You
the
don't understand.
population,
You
if
don't
what you
I'm
trying to do?
understand.
99%
Overtalk him?
of the population
Yeah, but you're not
and
allowing us to
and
talk.
1% of the population is
You're not
ruling,
allowing us to
we're
talk.
about to go to violence.
Yeah, but you're
I'm
not allowing
sorry,
us to
but we're
talk.
going to go to violence.
Yeah, but you're not allowing us to talk. We need to talk
No,
too. We
because
hear you
you're not
talking.
going to. Because listen to my point. Tell us why you're poor. Why you're 100% of the island? Why are you poor?
Because of the system, it never built for a black man. It was never for us. That is why we will always suffer until we
But
come
what
out.
can you do?
Come out the system.
Okay, again, answer the question. Answer the question. Who is making the money from the tourism?
The 1%ers.
But 99% of you is black. Why
So
is the
wait.
1% of you why is the 1% making the money off of y'all's tourism? It's your island.
Exactly to the commenter there. Trinidad is not a poor country, but the system we are in, black people are suffering. Okay?
But you're 99. See, I can't get it through my head. You're
Yes, because
99% of the population. So
exactly
why is you suffering?
because you are slow. You are not trying to understand why us black people are trying to fight
Don't
to
say
make it
us
out the
black
system.
people, because black people in America are only 13% of the population. We do not have the opportunity. If we was 99% of the population, I would not be talking about this right now.
Bro, you just strictly brainwash, and like I believe most of your friends are white. Because
No,
you
all
not
of my
even
friends are
speaking like
black. All of my friends are black.
a black guy.
There's no
Bro,
reason
All
that
of
Yeah, but
his
one.
friends are
you trying
black.
to get black points. You trying to get white points. That's what you trying to do. You just trying to get
No,
all
he
these damn
not.
white
No,
points.
he
That's
not.
what you're trying to do.
No, he's not. He is not trying to
Yes,
get
he
white
is. Yes,
points.
he is.
No, you
Yes,
know what he
he is.
no.
He don't know what
Listen,
the hell. He
listen.
don't know what the
You
hell
know
he's
what
talking
he's
about.
doing?
He talking
No,
all that
you know what
stupid
he's
cool
doing?
shit. He
No, you
talking
know what
all
he's
that
doing?
stupid cool
he
shit.
stay
He
he
No,
can't
you
take
know
say
what
sides
some
he's
with
damn
the
doing?
next
little
side.
Can I
man,
talk?
get the
Can
fuck
I
out of here
talk?
talking that stupid
Can I
shit.
talk? Can I
Get the,
talk?
no, you let me
Exactly,
talk.
Bruce.
You let me talk. I'm gonna tell you like this. He talking all that stupid stuff, getting a brush of people talking about everyone in the corner smoking weed, something like that. That is not the black community that's doing that. That's a small percentage of people doing that. And the people who sitting there abusing these people are not the people who deserve to be.
Kick everybody off. I'm not going to argue with you. You 99% of the population. And you want to come to me and tell me 1% rules your island? That's because you're scared. You're scared. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to do that. There's no reason in South Africa there's like those people being bondaged by
You
1% of the population. There's no reason for that. I'm not
can you
lost. Y'all
believe that?
scared. That's the problem in the black community. We're scared of revolution. You're scared to really put your life on the line for freedom. We want to run our mouths, but what are we willing to do for freedom?
Hold
For
on, hold on,
citizenship?
hold on, hold on, hold on.
Nigga, was you?
Hello?
Yeah.
I had a bad echo going on. I'm sorry. I'm back. So, yeah, you know what? You know what?
Wait a minute, hold
First,
on.
my
Wait a minute,
daughter is
hold
back
on.
here.
Hold on. Take that bass out of your voice when you talk to me, man. I heard you the one yelling and
I'm
screaming.
agreeing with you, man. I'm
Oh,
just
okay. I thought that
outside.
was you. I thought that was you
No,
yelling and screaming.
see, but you know what's funny? Yeah, I'm outside. Baby
I'm
girl,
sorry.
come
I
on, we gotta go
apologize
inside.
because let me explain. Because someone who sounded like you was just screaming and yelling, and I apologize. I thought you was that dude.
Yeah, so basically, here's the situation. It's black people's fault because we're waiting for a savior.
Exactly. Go ahead. Can you still there? You cut off.
Savior.
Okay, go ahead.
I said we're waiting for a savior. We're waiting
Right.
for a savior,
Right.
and that's the problem.
Exactly.
Because, for example, in the Deion Sanders situation is a perfect example. Because everyone's upset that Deion left. They're like, "Oh, Deion was
Mhm.
supposed to change everything for JSU. He must change it all." I'm like, no, he was asking for support. No one outside of JSU was not trying to support them. The government wasn't trying to support them. The alumni was not trying to support them. The parents weren't trying to support them. No one was supporting this organization.
Right.
So because they weren't supporting the organization or the program, he left. So yeah, and it's like everyone's like, "Oh, why'd you leave?" You because he wasn't getting the support he needed. He was out here
Mhm.
2 years, got them boys to a chip, and was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, no, I'm not." He wasn't getting the support he needed, so he left. Now here's what it is too, though. So we have to accept that yeah, we're in a shitty situation. We have to consistently make sure folks don't look at us and look at us as a stereotype
Mhm.
at all times. That we the only group that has to do that shit. But it's just we're waiting for a savior to do all the work for us instead of coming together and doing the work together.
That was my point to the brother in Trinidad. You're 99% of the population, and you letting 1% rule you. And we already know what's going on. It's because 99 of y'all probably fighting with each other,
Mm.
inward fighting with each other, like they got them in South Africa fighting with each other, and
But
not realizing the bigger
can
goal
I
that hey, we need to get our land back.
can
Who
I?
cares if you're Zulu or who cares if
That's
you're something else? We need to get our land back.
but that's the thing, sir. Aren't you doing that right now? I've been
Trying
on your
to,
podcast before. You yelled me right out the live a few times. The infighting is going on because there's folks who don't want to listen. There's folks who are like, "Hey, you can make it. Pull up your bootstraps. You got this." But then it's like, "Hey, but I don't got boots. So what do I pull up?" Or
but
because of situations that I had no control over, because of what happened in my previous generation, how do I get myself into a better position working twice as hard?
it's called unity. It's not, I don't preach pull up your boots. I preach pull your boots. Unity. It's called unity, but it's called responsibility. If you see that people are trying to do something, you have a responsibility. You know what luck is? Luck is the preparation meet opportunity. And a lot of our people are not doing that. You're not preparing yourself to meet opportunity. If you're and everyone will say you're presenting a stereotype, you're presenting a stereotype. 99% of the police killings, these people put themselves in these positions. And I'm not saying it's right, but 99%, I wouldn't say 90. I'd say 90% of the time, these people put themselves in these positions. And every time we go out here and we fight for these people, instead of saying, hey, man, why does this shit keep happening? It ain't all the police. Some of this has to do with our community. You're running around with guns. You're standing on the corner with guns. You doing stuff illegal. And then when the police come, you want to act like it's your right to stand on the corner and sell dope. That's what most of these guys like Eric Garner. Eric Garner wanted to act like it was his right to stand on the street corner and sell illegal cigarettes. And when the police told him to move on, he got upset with them. I'm not saying that the chokehold was illegal, and yes, that police officer should have went to jail for the chokehold. But you have to understand, you cannot stand on the corner and sell illegal cigarettes. We got people in our neighborhoods that stand on the corner and openly sell dope like it's their job, like it's their right. And when the police come, the first thing they say is, the
Mm-hmm.
police are harassing me. The police are harassing. What you on the corner
But the
selling dope?
question, But the question I have though is, sir, what have you done in your community to stop that from happening?
What have you done in your community to stop it from happening?
I help open up rec centers. I actually
What
led those
rec
after
center have
school
you opened
programs.
up? That's the goddamn problem.
Okay, what
You
rec
know that's
centers
the
did I open
goddamn
up?
problem. You know when we was
Paddington.
most successful? Wait a minute, hold on. You know when we was most
Okay, I'll
successful
wait.
as black people when before we could be entertainers and athletes. When you had to really think about we was more successful before the NBA and all of these people started making money in the 40s. We had businessmen. We had people in our communities that made us successful. Now everybody wants to be a fucking entertainer or athlete.
The reason why you hear only about the entertainers is because they're doing their job promoting something. There are
What
black
are you doing with
doctors.
your rec center, sir?
I actually run computer classes for children so
Okay,
they can
that's
learn how to
good,
use
bro.
computers.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So, because I work IT. But
That's
anyway,
good. Thank you. That's good.
Charlotte, open this up for your sister, please. So, the thing I'm saying is, I'm actively doing things to help fight that. There are a few folks who are actively doing that to help fight that. However, because there's no draw to that, there's no media coverage that could be covered by that, you are only seeing the negatives.
Brother, no, wait a minute. I'm gonna stop you
Okay, go
because
ahead.
wait a minute, you're fighting me and I'm fighting your cause. I'm saying the shit you're saying. I'm saying that shit. Everything that you just said, that's what I'm saying.
No,
Why aren't I put why
I
don't you
asked
put
you
the
what
damn
you
money?
did,
Wait
and
a
you
minute,
were
hold on.
okay.
I'm saying, why don't you put the money in okay? Why don't you put money if these people's families are getting killed by the police?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you give money back? Benjamin Crumpton made $80 million, $100 million off Black Death. Get the money back so we can prevent police brutality. Get the money back so we can help the damn kids. Why aren't, that's what I'm saying. So you coming on here criticizing me when I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for people like you
I asked you what you did, and you deflected asking me what I
because you
did.
don't need to know what I do because I'm not going to tell people what I do because I'm not here to brag about myself.
But
I'm
you're
not
here
here
to
to tell
talk
people,
down with a
oh, I
savior
be in the community
complex.
doing this and I be in the community to do that. I'm here to tell people to get their asses in the community. I'm not asking for no one to
But
pat me on my back.
I'm not. Here's what it is, though. I need an example on what I can do, and I'm asking you as an individual who's
There's
telling
nothing
me.
more you can do, brother. There's nothing more you can do. You're doing everything you can do. You need help. And it's a shame, sir, that that this is the way it goes. If a kid, and I don't mean to be yelling, I gotta calm down. If a kid, I worked somewhere and the kid said, can you help me? And I said, yeah, what you need help with? I want to get a job. I said, okay. I said, have you ever been in trouble? No, I ain't never been in trouble. Are you on probation? No, I ain't on probation. Well, I'm saying, I'm sorry, I can't help you get a job. But if a kid comes to me and he tells me, I've been in trouble, I've been in juvenile hall, I've been on probation, oh yeah, I can help you. See, the problem in the black community is we wait too damn long to help the damn kids. We wait till the kids are in trouble when we should be dealing with them before they get in trouble. We wait, we don't get them young. We look
Okay.
at the schools, look at the schools. You should know this.
Can
We're
I?
living in a community full of trauma. Full of
Mm-hmm.
trauma. These kids are going to trauma. Kids
Mm-hmm.
are living in homeless shelters. Kids are dealing with domestic violence. They're dealing with violence in the community. Dealing with poverty. And then when they get to school, they're judged on if they can take a damn test. If they pass the test, that determines how good the school is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? They don't got
Nope.
all the advantages of someone living in the suburbs with two parents or maybe one parent who's economically stable, who's not. They don't have to deal with who doesn't have to deal with violence, who doesn't have to deal with trauma that our children, that black and brown children and poor white people are going through. So these people in the suburbs and upper classes are going to be able to pass the test easily. While
Okay.
black people, it might not be that they can't learn. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that they're dealing with so much
They
trauma.
don't have. They
But
don't
as
have the
black people,
resources.
exactly. But as black
Mm-hmm.
people, we don't give a damn about them unless they get killed by the cops. So
So
you're
you're
getting
saying we
on
should
me
put.
when I'm fighting for you.
So you're saying we should put more funds and more support into these communities that are suffering, correct?
Yeah, we should be supporting people like you.
Got it.
Listen,
So, are you against reparations?
brother, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about something that might
That's
not happen.
support.
Okay, brother, but that's something we can't wait on. We got to do it now.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you can, it's unfortunate. We have people we're so poor. That's what everyone says. We're so poor. We're so poor. But when it comes to these AAU teams, and you open a rec center, you probably seen it. They got money somehow. Somehow these people come up with money. But when it comes up with programs like your program, I ain't got no money for that. Wait a minute. You got money to send this kid all around the world to play some basketball, but you ain't got no money to give to this program to help me teach these kids how to computer program?
So
That's what we're dealing with.
that comes with return of like profit though. Like if you
No,
put
it
money
don't.
into something, don't you want money coming from it?
Brother, 700 people fight for 80 jobs. Not everybody on the AAU team is going to make it to the NBA, but everybody in your computer programming class, you got a program that if you're teaching them right, it got 100% return rate on it. Everybody in that program can get a damn job. But everybody who plays on an AAU team, someone said not necessarily, but percentages are higher in that computer programming job.
Yeah.
Percentages are higher that those people are going to get a job.
That goes without saying. Yeah, that goes without saying. If I have training,
to the NBA.
like working in computer technology is a new trade. Like that's a trade. Like most of the work is done with your hands because you're building these computers. You're making sure that the computers are running correctly. Like it's an actual trade at this point that people should know how to do because computers aren't going anywhere. The fact of the matter is, though, I completely agree with what you're saying. We need to support programs like this. I feel like programs like this definitely do need the support that you're talking about. However, it doesn't seem like you want a solution. It seems like you just want to blame black
I gave
folks.
the solution. That is my solution. If you're not listening because you're too much involved in your emotions, that is my solution. Put money into
Your
stuff.
solution?
Look,
but then when I said reparations is a good idea to put money into stuff.
Well, you know why reparations? You know why I don't want to talk about reparations? Because
Why is that,
reparations depends on white people. So what are we going to do? We're going to keep waiting around for white people to give us reparations before we do something?
We're going to do your first step. Come together and agree on it, and agree on the steps of how it can be done, and come together as a community and as a people to get it done.
They're never going to give us reparations. Everyone should think.
Because we're so divided.
How much do you
That's
think
why.
oh, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. How much do you think they owe us in reparations?
Too much. But we base it off of the 1800. But we base it off of the 1801 census. Not the 1860 census. We base it off of the census that was after the Civil War. And if we can trace your people, whoever your ancestors are,
a dollar amount. Let's talk about a dollar amount.
A dollar amount? No, it doesn't have to be money. It can legitimately be. It could be land. It could be business opportunities. It could be other things.
Pick a state. Pick a state. Tell me which state you want to take.
Pennsylvania.
Okay. What's the percentage of black people in Pennsylvania to the percentage of white people in Pennsylvania?
We outnumber them 50%.
No, I don't think we do in Pennsylvania.
Okay, cool. You want to pick it? Let's pick a different one then to help your argument, I guess. This is textbook moving the post, by the way.
There's not Pennsylvania is.
I am. You know what? I'm good with this discussion point because it seems as if you don't want to.
Sense because you're trying to say
no,
Pennsylvania is 50% black. It's not 50%.
So one, Philadelphia is most of Pennsylvania, and then Pittsburgh is the other half. Both of them are predominantly black.
So, okay, hold on. Let me
look it up. I'll look it up.
Hold on. Let me look it up. Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
I'm definitely not in debate mode, but if I have to be in debate mode, you're going to be all puffy.
Demographics of Pennsylvania.
I think we're 20%.
Demographics of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania got 12.96, not 12.9.
Racial demographic.
African
Okay,
Americans
cool.
are 12% of Pennsylvania. White
Cool
people are
beans.
82% of Pennsylvania.
82%. So you don't think we're going
Yes.
to get reparations because of that?
Now, okay, listen to my point before you get mad.
I'm not going to get mad.
Okay, listen to my
I'm
point.
on cloud nine.
There's 82% of 12 million white people, or 12 million people is white. Now, the government is going to say, hey, all you white people, now you got to understand, not just white people. You got to say, they're going to tell the Asians who 3.9%, the Native Americans who 0.4%, the Native Hawaiian, the Hispanics and the Latinos who was 8.4%. All of y'all got to leave. You got to leave all your homes. You got to leave all your businesses. Y'all got to leave because we're going to give this small land that is not big enough for 50 million black people. We're going to give this to black people. Do you think that they're actually going to leave?
Because of property, no.
They're not going to leave.
They
So
will
this
not lose their
dream,
property.
wait a minute, hold on. This dream that we have that we can just get people to leave their homes in America is not going to happen. Someone said they should give us Texas. Do you think the people of Texas are really going to leave? Texas got the most guns in America. Do you think they just going to listen to the U.S. government and say, okay, black people coming to Texas, let's just get out of here? Do you really think that's going to happen?
Native Americans currently have reparations.
Native Americans got that land back in the days before that land was really was people was settled on that land. If people were settled on that land today, they would have to be a hell of a war to get white people off that land.
But that's the thing now. They literally are currently getting reparations in land.
They're not getting land. They're not getting land. They getting they might be getting money.
1971, around $1.4 billion plus 44 million acres of land in Alaska Native Claim Settlement Act.
You want to go to Alaska?
That happened in America. Alaska.
Do you want to go to Alaska? That land is not occupied. The land they're getting, if you talk to those so-called Native Americans, is not fertile. It won't grow food.
But it also mines oil and resources.
They're not giving them.
That's why they live there.
Come on, brother. Don't think that. You think America is giving them land that gives out oil?
Yes, they did. I'm literally looking at the act. I'm looking at the act now. Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act. It was signed into law by President Richard Nixon on December 18th, 1971.
Okay, this was in law in 1971, right?
Yep.
Why the Native Americans like, if it wasn't for us, they'll be the poorest people in the country?
That's one hell of a pivot. All right.
If they got land and they got oil, why ain't they like,
you know what?
like the richest people in the world?
Black, I'm jealous. You're right. This has nothing to do with black people. We should get back on the main topic. So
it has something to do with.
I will say here's the thing though. I am saying that your claim is because our population is too small, we cannot get reparations because we're not enough black people. And
I did not say that. I did not say that. I did not say that. My claim is, when it comes to land, it is going to be hard to tell people, okay, if you take land, the American government is going to have to to pay those people to leave the land. If you say, let's take Texas, either we're going to have a war on our hands, or the American government is going to have to go in and say, look, I will give you so-and-so for your land. Because people is not just going to leave like that. People is not going to just give up their land for us. That's what y'all not thinking about. It's going to be a war.
Something to think about too, though. The federal government owns 27.1% of all land in the United States of America. That's 615 million acres that they own. So you're telling me that if I opt and go, hey, I want land, I don't want the settlement, I want land so I can build a house, so I can build a small community.
It's just not about land. It's
You
about
just said
is
it
the
was about
land
land.
fertile. It's about is the land fertile.
It's
See, that's the thing. You just can't accept land. The land has to be able to support the people. So you just
Idaho,
can't take any land.
Wyoming, Oregon. No, Nevada's not too fertile. Utah,
Have you ever been to these states?
Washington.
Have you ever been to these states?
Yes.
Okay. So you know the land you're talking about is in the mountains. Now, this is my other question. We can't even get along in the small neighborhoods we got. How the hell are we going to get along in those neighborhoods? Go ahead, Creed. Creed, go ahead. You want to say something or what?
Yeah, I'll say something to her a little bit.
It's your turn now. He left.
Yeah, so I wanted to say is that, I do agree with you. I don't believe that the United States will give us reparations. I believe that's something that we have to take ourselves.
Exactly.
That's to still, to me, time has run out already, and we're just in overtime, and we're just waiting. And now there's another way, as Malcolm X talked about, the scope and how the scope and how we plan on in achieving this is it's not confined to the American government, and and if we get the scope into the world government, now we allow ourselves to get more allies of people that look like us. So to say, I think it's detrimental to say we won't get reparations. It's the matter of fact on how and when we decide to repossess what's rightfully ours.
Now, this is the thing.
So,
I'm not saying that we shouldn't fight for reparations. I'm just saying we don't got, like you said, we don't got time to wait for that. We can pull our own resources and do something for ourselves because, like you said, it's going to come to time we're going to have to repossess reparations. If we're really talking about reparations, we're going to have to go to war. Go ahead, bro.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
How's everybody doing?
Go ahead.
I kind of came into the conversation kind of late. I think I can add a little bit of info, to what I think about what y'all are talking about. I don't ever think we would be given reparations. I mean, that could be something we hope for, maybe thinking that something that if that was ever going to happen, it would have been done a long time ago.
Right.
Like you said, if that was going to happen for us, that would be something we would definitely have to come together and take.
Right. I agree.
So, but the problem with us is the coming together.
Exactly.
If we can be a very strong culture. We are a very strong culture. Everybody wants to be what we are anyway. But it's harder for us to do it ourselves. If we did do it ourselves, we would be the most powerful thing on this planet.
Right.
But we don't know how to come together.
So I don't know why y'all saying we don't know how to come together. Me personally,
because we don't.
Hold on. Me personally, from what I see and from my two eyes, is black people loving black people. And what I see on the TV is black people
hating black people. So is this something that y'all see with your own two eyes? Because now you can't say don't base on how you view black people based on crimes, because crimes is something that's written into law and made a crime. So if we look back into right after the Emancipation Proclamation, black codes created to basically re-enslave black people. So
No,
and it's still happening. It's
well,
still happening.
no, I would say
There's laws that's made, that was recently made just in Texas alone, from a civil penalty to a criminal penalty, to make you a
give,
felony.
give us an example of that law. Give us an example of that law.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So one law in here is how can I say this? Soliciting prostitution. Yes.
What should you be doing that?
So, but what I'm saying is that was made from made from a misdemeanor to a felony.
Because they was trying to protect human trafficking.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that leaves it to the power of the police officer to say what they're going to charge you with, and it turns it from a misdemeanor to a felony. Now, you know, when you're a felony, you have more of your privileges taken away. You have the privilege to vote, the privilege to own a gun.
Hold on. I don't mean to stop you, but that's the problem in the black community. You can control if you go to a prostitute or not. That's personal responsibility.
That's
the stuff we're talking about.
Okay.
Like, I could see if it was some law that you had no control over, like the black codes. You just got released from slavery. You got nowhere to go, and you're just trying to go to the next town and you get picked up by the police. You have a control if you're gonna go from your house, go to some hostro and pick up a girl.
That's on you.
No one's forcing you to do that.
Exactly.
So
that's on you.
As I said, that's you accusing somebody of a crime that you don't have any knowledge of. Now, anybody.
Hold on, wait a minute. I can't let you get away with that. I can't let you get away. Wait a minute. So, what are you saying? They're accusing me of a crime that I have no knowledge of if I'm on the street trying to pick up prostitutes?
But how do you know?
How do I know what?
What I'm saying is that's a charge that it doesn't need that much evidence for.
Yeah, it don't. But why should you be picking up prostitutes?
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying whether it's moral. I'm not arguing that. That's what you're arguing. You're arguing morality. What I'm saying is, should you become enslaved for that action, or for what you're getting accused of?
Let me ask you this: say if I happen to pick up a teenage prostitute, now do you feel a little bit different?
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. But that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that that is a charge that they can take away what people call rights. I call it privileges, because privilege can be taken away. So, and that reduces the amount of
what are you talking about?
But okay, let's look at it this way.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Cops lie. Okay.
Let's look at it this way, though. Hold on. Let's look at it this way. So the reason Texas made that law was because they wanted to prevent human trafficking. So now they put that law out to try to prevent people from, because it's supply and demand. If there's no demand, there's no supply. So they're figuring if there's no demand, because we're trying to deter people from picking up prostitutes, so there won't be, so that would curb human trafficking. So That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to stop human trafficking. And if we want to talk about it, 74,000 black women are missing. Black women are most of the women in the human trafficking game.
Who was the biggest human traffickers in
We're
America?
not talking about slavery. That's the problem in our community. We got to talk about the right
Who
now.
are the biggest? Who are the biggest
I
human
think
traffickers in
you're kind
America?
of getting away from what we're talking about.
So, what does that have to do with 74,000 black women going missing in the modern time? We can't say, oh, yeah, because white people human traffic them. That gives a right. These are 74,000 black women missing. It's not due to slavery.
Okay. So, as I said, all I'm saying is that cops lie. Okay. And that's a law made to basically restrict firearms in the city. Restrict you from being able to protect your family.
Restrict the firearms in the city. Texas is an open carry state.
It makes, they made it a felony. So now, if you want to believe that they did it for for the black community, for black women, then you can believe that. I don't believe that's the same with open carry. They came out with that at the same time. So open carry,
Texas always been an open carry state. Texas always been an open carry
has
state.
not always been an open carry.
Yes,
I'm from Texas.
No,
it hasn't.
Texas has always been an open carry state. It just became legal. It just became easier to obtain a weapon now. Anybody can obtain a weapon in Texas now. That's the only thing that's different.
Yeah, you don't need a permit now, but it's always been an open carry state.
Exactly.
And plus,
I've been in Texas all my life.
Your point is kind of moot because felons were carrying guns regardless if the law said they could, if they can't.
Exactly.
It only made it even for the regular citizen. The law wasn't made for felons.
Yep. Felons gonna have a gun regardless. What state you live in?
That's why they felons. Yeah, they don't care about the law. So maybe you should give another point because this one
you missing me with this one, man.
Now
you kind of missing me with this one.
Now all you had to do is look it up.
Look at what?
If you didn't know, all you had to do is look it up. Texas has not always been an open carry state.
You just had to have a permit. You could always carry a gun in Texas if you had a permit.
Yes.
Okay. You don't need a permit. You're right. Okay.
Right.
You don't need a permit. Now, as I said, that law was not made for us. If you want to believe that, you can. But it was the same time they came out with 666 laws.
Creed, excuse me, Creed. Can let me ask you a question? What law has ever been made for a black person? Honestly. Ain't nobody saying a law has been specifically made for a black person. You know, you trying to be specific.
I can tell you one law.
Hold on. Is that No Love trying to talk?
I can tell you one law. I ain't gonna try.
You're going in and out, brother.
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Yeah. Let me tell you. See one thing about the man. He kind of right about the part about no laws was really meant to protect the black man because if you look at the Constitution, it states right in there that
Hey, you going in and out?
No love. Right. No love. Right. You keep going in and out, man.
I don't know what's going on with it, but it's like a bunch of y'all talking at one time.
Because you're going in and out. Stay like that. Come back and talk like you was.
Okay, listen. See, you're right when you say the point about there's no.
Hey, No Love. Drop out and come back in. Maybe that'll help. Drop out and come back in.
Okay.
Come back in. Maybe that'll work.
You know, and I'm not saying laws have no benefit for us in any way, you know. But no specific law has ever been in place to just benefit a black person that
Can you
I
hear me?
see. Yeah, you sound 100% better.
Okay, listen. The Constitution is right there in there. It tells you that if you are a descendant from a slave in the United States of America, you have no rights. You're not even considered a citizen of the United States. That's why the gun laws are able to be used in each state how they want to use them, is because technically we are not first class citizens in this country. So that's why when they use that, if you get a felony, I understand what the man's saying. He's saying that they changing laws that affect black people, because more black people, an officer is going, if a person is doing something illegal, the officers focus on the black community more than they do in the white community. So therefore, in every state, you're going to have a higher rate of black people being arrested because of that system that they got set up. But the system is designed for you to lose. There's nothing you can do.
But no love. You're pretty much saying what's been going on our entire lives.
Right.
That's in any state, anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Regardless of what law has been made, it's always been used against us as black folks.
Right. It's targeted.
Wait a minute. Let's look at some stats.
The Constitution, it was designed by all white people. No black people had no say so in the Constitution. So therefore, the Constitution, we were the only other people here when they created the Constitution. So it was evidently very clear that the laws that it was making were to protect the white people from the black slaves that was being released. It was all a part of keeping control of the black people.
Wait a minute. You have the 14th Amendment that made everybody in America a citizen, and you have the 13th Amendment who said that, hey, no one could be a slave unless they are punished by a crime. And then if we look at statistics, which people fail to realize, they say that, oh, this hurts black people. There are 91,000 white people in prison compared to 61,000 black people. 57% of the prison population is white. 38% of the prison population is black. The reason they say black people are overrepresented in the prisons is because they take the number of black people in prison and compare it to our population. That doesn't mean we're the largest number of people in prison. White people is the largest number in prison. So basically, we're making excuses right here. The 14th Amendment makes us citizens. The 13th Amendment says we can't be slaves. Now, we got to focus on why the hell you going to prison, to be a felon in the first place.
Okay, so the 13th Amendment, it didn't say we can't be. It can't become slaves.
It says no man should be a slave unless they commit a crime or they're in debt, which people don't realize.
And so that now adding that part in, see, that's what you have to understand. See about the compromise that they had during the Civil War and how it ended, because that's exactly at the point when black codes was created.
But wait a minute, I don't mean to stop you.
It legalized slavery in the North and the South.
I don't mean to stop you. We're not talking about black codes. Why do we keep focusing on something that is not happening to us today?
Yeah, that's so.
You don't have a choice to go to prison.
Because it's important. It's important because the same things that's happening then is still happening now.
Okay, tell me who's going to prison because they just got freed and walked down the street 3 miles and getting told they got to come back to the plantation. People are making choices to go to prison.
See, but that's the thing, though. You got people just like the state of Alabama right now. The state of Alabama got people in prison that's been in prison for 10, 15 years for a crime that they committed, but they're eligible for parole. So these inmates is being what you call rehabilitated. They're doing their time.
Rehabilitation taking place in prison.
Let's
Yeah,
not
ain't no
say that.
Huh?
ain't no rehabilitation taking. Yeah, thank you.
No, this is what the system tells you. The system, if you got to realize, like, okay, I just was reading about Alabama parole system. Parole board, they got 384 people that can be eligible to be on parole in the state of Alabama at any given time. Up to 384 people. They only allow 33 people to be released in that whole state on parole. You got people in there that's been caught with for marijuana, um, you know, cocaine or whatever. They never hurt anybody physically, and
Wait,
they
don't say
never
that.
get
Don't
out.
say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say just because you sold some cocaine you didn't hurt nobody, because we're suffering because of the crack cocaine trade. So you
Sure
did
enough,
hurt
but
somebody.
just like you said, it's no different than somebody prostituting than selling drugs, because a prostitution hurts you too. So
But the
there's really
difference is
not
you
no
could be
difference.
forced into. They're talking about human trafficking.
Yeah,
We're
that's
talking
not
about you
nobody just
kidnapping someone and forcing them to be a prostitute.
yeah. There's a
Yeah, well,
difference.
that's a different story. But you can't make nobody though go out and buy drugs either. They
No.
if you go out and buy drugs, then you're willing to go out and get it. That's like
But
he ain't
how do
making you.
people
He
get
ain't got
hooked
a
on them
gun
though?
to your head telling you to buy it, huh?
But it's deeper than what people think. How people get hooked on drugs? It ain't like one day you wake up and you decide you want to do some drugs.
No,
I mean,
you can get hooked on drugs from prostitution. You can be tripping with
no.
somebody
I'm saying
in
everything we're saying, we're making excuses for our people because as a kid they gave you Ritalin. When
Yeah.
you in, they tell you, oh, your kid's hyper, we're gonna give him Ritalin. Ritalin's full of drugs. So
it's a
now
drug.
you get to a certain age, they don't give you it no more. So conveniently, they put some drugs in the hood because you're hooked on drugs. Now you go to the drug dealer. I need something because I was used to getting drugs. I can't get the drugs no more. We got a lot of people self-medicating because of trauma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reason people use drugs. It's not, you just can't say people are using drugs for the hell of it. A lot of reasons people are using drugs. But it is not like it's harmless. You're doing destruction to the black community. You're taking parents away. There's people who done
So
turned
you
out
don't
their
think,
kids to get a hit of a drug.
so you think that if a person get caught for selling drugs to the community, they should stay in prison the rest of their life? You don't think that that person had time to
No,
sit
no,
down?
no. He's not saying
Change?
that. No,
Oh, yes,
I'm
sir.
not getting that. I'm not getting that.
But
I
that's
don't think
what's
he's saying
happening.
that.
They're not
It
giving people the
depends on how
opportunity.
much. It depends on how much drugs you're selling. Now,
Okay,
if you
well look at it.
depends on how many
Like use
times you
this
got
for
caught
instance.
too. See, we gotta look at that. Now, if you done got caught like 50 times. I mean, especially
Well,
in
yeah, we get see
Alabama, they have the
that's a different
habitual
story.
criminal law. So they let you out one time, they let you out a second time, then you come back a third time. They like, damn, you a habitual a criminal. You got to stay in it for the rest of your life.
So what about a prostitute? If a prostitute get caught 3 or 4 times, she should stay in prison for the rest of her life because she was prostituting 3 times, 4 times, 5 times.
There's different things.
What
Look,
makes the
wait a
prostitute
minute, hold
different from
on.
the drug dealer?
Wait a minute. The drug addict should not get the same sentence as the drug dealer. The drug addict needs help. The drug dealer needs help, but he can get some help in prison. The drug addict needs to go to rehabilitation. That's what happened
So
in
the
the crack
drug,
game. When they cut down on crack, they started locking up everybody, the drug dealer and the drug addict, and that's how the community got destroyed. Instead of people giving help to the drug addict, they locked the drug addict up, and then you just depleted the community.
yeah, but do you, at the end of the day, do you know who brought the drugs into the community? The government.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
that's all.
So why are they not
That's
being punished?
well, that's just it. That's just it. We can say that, and we can say that, but that'll just be another excuse we trying to make on why we still not surviving.
It's not an excuse. It's reality. When you look
No,
at
of course.
when you look at
Okay. Let
you
me say
being
something
set
for a minute.
up, it's
Let me
all
say
a
something.
setup in the beginning.
Just let me say something for a minute. I am a product of a mother who was a drug addict. I met my father for the first time maybe about 5 years ago. I pretty much raised my sister. You know what I'm saying? And my sister got a master's in school. You know what I'm saying? I'm a self-made chef. I have my own catering company. I could have made any excuse with the neighborhood I grew up in. Well, half of my homeboys right now are either dead or locked up right now. You know, those choices I made my life growing up, I could have been a statistic. But it's on you to decide on if this is the choices you're gonna make. Am I gonna choose that life, or am I gonna try to do something better for myself, so my family can begin to do better for themselves? You know what I'm saying? We like I was saying earlier, us as black people, we have a jealousy type. You know, once somebody sees somebody making it, first thing they want to do is talk them down instead of lifting them up. You know what I'm saying? So we make too many excuses on why we don't survive. You know what I'm saying?
That's my thing too. Why don't we talk about ways, other things to build in the community to give people outs instead of having to choose the criminal lifestyle?
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have brought people into my life, even people I've met for the first time. You know what I'm saying? I have friends now that have struggled, who didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Who look at me now because, like let me say my homeboy Peanut. You know what I'm saying? When he was younger, he had nowhere to go, had nothing to do. He could have started selling drugs, but I brought him in. You know what I'm saying? Boy has a great job in his life now, has a beautiful family, has his own stuff. His kids is going to college now. You know what I'm saying? It's all in what you do and how you can help somebody else. You have to keep the train going. You
That's
have
what
to.
I'm talking about.
And you got to teach them how to keep the train going. Because if you don't, and envy is a bad motherfucker. And what black people have bad is envy. They see somebody with something, either they want to take it or they want to hate that somebody got it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of asking, man, can you help me try to get it? You know, and that's what I see is the biggest crutch that us as black people have.
I see the biggest thing we have is taking responsibility. Instead of talking about should someone spend the rest of their life in prison for selling drugs, we should be talking about how do we prevent these people from going to jail for selling drugs.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Because selling drugs, because selling drugs is because you're poor, unless you're just stupid, unless you're just greedy. And then we got to deal with the trauma that is going on in the black community to make people want to use drugs. So, but if we keep making excuses, keep blaming the white man, the cycle just keeps counting. The cycle just keeps going.
Exactly.
So
we make way too many excuses. Way too many excuses.
So earlier you mentioned revolution. So how do you see that going about? What would your plan be for that? Because I feel that you would be kind of blinded right now because you don't know what the target would be.
The blinded by how? See, this is the problem with revolution. You 13% of the population, they 75% of the population. Who are you going to attack? We're not ready for a revolution. And all of these people talking about picking up guns and they want to go fight with the white man, they just talking a bunch of BS because they know it's never going to happen. They know it's never going to happen. The revolution that we need is a revolution in our community of one that we need to start building with ourselves. We got like the 8th richest nation if we could collectively pool our resources.
Man, that's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, so and if we're the number one consumer in America. So if we was to pool our resources and build for ourselves and buy property for ourselves and help each other out, we could have a revolution. But the main problem with having a revolution, the main problem with putting businesses, opening schools, anything in the black community is the mind. It's the mindset. I'll tell you a story. In San Francisco, Galvin Newsom, when he was the mayor of San Francisco, he put $1 million park in the black neighborhood. $1 million pork. Well, everyone's saying the man is racist. I might not like him, but he's not racist. He put $1 million pork in the black neighborhood. And before they could even have the grand opening, they tore it up. He went for the grand opening. He invited all the news stations. And when they went to have the grand opening of the pork, it was tore up. So what's the use if we are not going to change the mentality of black people to put a bunch of black businesses in the black community so people can tear them up?
So that's been happening. And I mentioned revolution because you can't have a revolution within your mind. Like the goal of a revolution is about land. That's the basis of a revolution. So you cannot, the mind plays a part of you moving towards a revolution, but you can't just have a revolution in your mind. One of the biggest institutions.
Hold on.
I don't think you heard what he said at all.
Did you hear what Malcolm X said? Malcolm X said this is the only country that can have a bloodless revolution. We can buy land if we put our money together. We can do all of that. There's no one stopping us from doing what we're doing. We could secretly be quiet and buy land, and next thing you know, look at the Chinese. The Chinese had a revolution, and they didn't fire one shot. They own half the world. They didn't fire one shot.
The Chinese, they also took out all the Uncle Toms, so-called Uncle Toms.
Well, they still got Uncle Toms.
Well,
they still got people who don't agree with them.
Yeah, but I think I understand where you come from. Some things that you say is that's what taking accountability. We already done that, and
no, we haven't.
For you to say that we're making excuses for the drug dealers and other stuff. We're not making excuses.
Let me ask you
something.
Ain't
nobody out here making excuses.
Let me ask you something.
Ain't nobody out here making excuses. We're talking about justice.
We're not talking
about law and order.
Hold on.
We're talking about justice.
Let me ask something. What part of Texas you in?
I'm from around Dallas.
Okay. Who's killing who in Dallas?
Everybody's killing each other.
No. Who's killing black people in Dallas?
Black people are killing black people.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, because I've been through that area. Have you been through Fort Worth?
That's why I live, Fort Worth.
Now, if you go to Lancaster on Fort Worth, and he can bear witness to this.
I'm right down the road.
Who is the majority of the homeless people on Lancaster Avenue, East Lancaster?
Oh, that's all black folks.
Now, who is the ones giving them shelter?
Nobody.
But I mean, who owns the Presbyterian Night Shelter? Who owns the Salvation Army? Who owns Union Mission Gospel? Those are all white people.
They're white people, yeah.
Those are all white people. But if you go down 30, I believe, you will see a $2 million church.
Yeah.
That's T.D. Jakes' church. Now, if you go through the blackest outside Dallas, you got DeSoto, you got DeSoto, you got Duncanville, you got all of that. How many businesses are black?
There's
and that's
quite
the blackest section of Dallas. That's the blackest section of Dallas. There should not be. That should be all black businesses. That should be all
and
black
I agree
businesses.
with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
So who is our worst enemy? Who's our worst enemy? Who's going to take responsibility? What are we waiting for? The white man to come in to build us a business? I seen a video of DeSoto High School. They're shooting rubber bullets at the kids. They're shooting paintballs at the kids. Who is it to make your kid? Whose responsibility is it to send your kid to go to school and learn? Your kid is in there walking around the teachers are scared of the kids. So who are we waiting for Who are we waiting for to help us? That's my point. You got to take personal responsibility somewhere. Correct?
100.
Yeah, that what you're saying is it's like it's to me it's feeding into the stereotype as if we're not doing that already.
I think.
Give me an example of
The
you doing
things
that.
that
Give me an example. Give me an example. If
Okay,
I'm
let me
wrong,
say
prove.
something.
Give me an
Let me say
example. Wait a minute, he
something
gonna give
about
me an
this.
example. Give me an
This is
example.
what I think. This is what I think. I think you missing what this man is trying to say. He trying to say you in ways what you saying. I understand what both of y'all saying, but in reality, and like how you demonstrated what you seen in those cities. Let me tell you, brother. I'm way here in Florida, and the description, all that, what you were describing about how you was going down the streets in Texas. Let me tell you, they just this you. It's like that. You sound like you was talking about my neighborhood.
Yeah,
So
because they
it
all the
seems
same.
like that's like in all the black communities. Let me tell you what's going on in my town. In my town, the black people are being driven out. All the property that they own, the older people, they done got old. They can't fucking maintain their property. They kids being brainwashed with all this rapper stuff and all that, misguiding them, taking them down the road. They don't see what they really need to be focused on. And the older people are losing their property, and they're coming in with bulldozers. They're tearing it down, and then they're building skyscrapers, 2-story, 3-story houses, putting price tags on them, $1 million for the house that was only worth $40,000 before they tore it down. And the black people can't afford it. They already know that they can't afford it because it's already the poor neighborhood as it is.
Wait
So
a minute,
they're
David, hold on one
developing.
second. Wait a minute. You said you was in Oakland?
No, I'm in Florida.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
in
because that
Florida.
sounded like you was
But
describing Oakland.
what I'm trying to tell you is that's going on all over the world. So you got to look at the fact that we've already been sabotaged since day one. The
But we
black man has been
sabotaged
set up
ourselves.
by making friends, with an enemy. That's how we got sabotaged, and we've been in it. And it's like a black person can only do so much in this country. I don't care. Every when I was a kid, every store that was around here was owned by black people in my neighborhood. I'm still in the same neighborhood. Those people do not own those stores anymore. They're Arabs. So I can't go to China. A black man can't go nowhere in this world and set up. Even if you had the knowledge, the skills, you could be one of the best welders in the world. But you can't go to China and set up a welding company and be productive because they're not going to allow you to do that.
Wait, no.
But
Wait, stop. I have to stop you there. It's not that they're not going to allow you to do it. They're not going to buy it from you. The Chinese sell fried chicken to us. Do you think that you could go to them and sell them fried rice?
No, they're not going. They're not going to spend. We have no economy, and they want
Exactly,
us
and
to
it's not.
have.
And whose
They
fault
want
is
us
it?
to
It's
have.
who's making us go buy fried chicken from the Chinese? Who's making us go to the Arab store?
But even if a black man could open up
You can't.
a place to feed people, you're not going to have it you can't operate on a world trade level in order to generation wealth like that, because they're going to hinder you. A black man just can't walk in the bank. If black people have brilliant ideas all the time. Black people have brilliant ideas. Let me tell you something, brother. Some of the dudes that come up with some of the brightest ideas are locked up in prison right now. Some of the most talented people.
Wait a minute. I don't mean to cut you off, but you can do whatever you want in this nation. Again,
you can.
Listen to me.
You can't do
it. What can't I do? Tell me what I can't do.
I bet you can't own a state. Own a state over here. What state can you own?
What white person can own a state? What white person can own a state?
Don't know one person own a state.
They own all of them.
Name which white
They own
person owns
all of them.
Texas. Which white person owns Texas?
What black person own it?
Don't
No,
nobody own Texas.
nobody. No one
Who
can own the
runs
state.
it?
Why
Don't
are we
nobody own
getting
the
off
state.
Who's
that?
running the whole United States? Who runs the
Boy, don't
United
nobody
States?
own, man.
Come on,
Who
man.
runs the United States?
All right,
Who runs
anyway,
it?
okay, listen to
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
listen to me.
Who runs it? Who
Listen to me.
runs it?
The power of pooling your resources. If black, see, all that stuff you mentioned, Chinese and Arabs, if you stop going to them, they will leave your community. But we constantly are giving our money away. That's the problem with the whole Kanye Kyrie thing. It's not that, it's the problem is they don't want to see black people rise up and do something for themselves, because if you do something for yourself, you cut off their money. So anybody who says anything positive about black people rising up, they're going to get immediately shut down.
Who is they? Black people? Who is they? When you say they, who are you referring to? That
The
don't
Jews.
want you to.
The
Who
Jews.
is they?
The Jews.
They don't want you to do what? What the Jews don't want you to do?
Rise up
Prosper?
and do. Rise up.
They don't want you to
Listen
be
to
an
me. Listen
independent
to me.
nation.
Listen to me. Listen to me. We're the 8th richest nation. 8th richest nation in the world. 8th to 11th richest. Imagine if we stop putting our money on liquor and alcohol and weed, pork, stop buying high-end stuff we can't afford, and we was to pool our resources and open our own stores. We can do that. Money talks. You can go to the Chinese right now and enter into international commerce. But how many of us know how to do that? That's why they shut
Let me
down
ask you
LeVar
something.
Ball. Listen to me, hold on. That's why they shut down LeVar Ball. That's why they try to make him look like a madman, because he was talking about, it wasn't just LeVar Ball. It was like, okay, if this man is successful, then what if LeBron James gets the itch to go build his own shoes? What if Stephen Curry gets the itch to go build his own shoes? That takes away from us. So they had to shut LeVar Ball down. They had to make that man look stupid. They had to make that man fail, so no one else would want to take that chance. Now, if we was to pool our resources, start our own banks, loan our own people money, then we could be successful. But we constantly making excuses why we can't do nothing. I mean, how many times we gonna make excuses when you are gonna walk outside your house and go to the liquor store and give your money to an Arab?
Sure. What's your definition of success?
Brother, what's my definition of success? Brother, we can build our own community if we was to work together. You can come off mute.
And what about after that? After the fact?
Oh, here we go with the Tulsa, Oklahoma thing. Right? You gonna bring that up?
Well, I mean, because it's something bigger than that. So, there's something that we're trying to solve, and we have to look at reality.
No, y'all are letting the past hold our future back. Y'all keep trying stuff. Oh, they did this to us in the past. They did that. So you're not gonna try? They did it to the Chinese. They did it to the Japanese. Wait a minute, hold on. They did it to the Chinese. They did it to the Japanese. They did it to the Arabs. They did it to everybody. But listen to me. We're the only race that keeps letting our past hold us back. What are they doing to us, brother?
I asked you, what about after the fact? What about after the fact? We have communities. We've had communities. So what about after the fact?
What do you mean?
So what I've noticed about a lot of black people in America is we're always running. Running where? Running from stereotypes. The poor.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me ask you. Is it a stereotype? If it's true, give me a stereotype that we're running from.
So, as I said, we're running from stereotypes. The black people are poor stereotypes. Oh, and now when you get a little bit of money, you're like, well, this is how we need to go. This is what we need to do. Okay, the black people are uneducated stereotype. Now when you get somebody gets some education, they're like, well, I have 3 degrees and and black people just need to be save for school and get their education, because if I grew up in a poor neighborhood and I grew up on the streets and I was able to get my education, and black people need to stop doing this and get their education. And the problem still exists. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or you poor, whether you are educated or uneducated.
What problem still exists, brother?
White supremacy, in quotes, and the institutions
hold on. Wait.
Racism.
Wait. How has white supremacy hindered your life?
See, it's not about me.
No, brother. Answer the question.
It's not about me. I don't live in the individual mindset. And see, I had somebody say, hold on. When I brought up crime,
for everybody. How is white? See, because everyone likes to talk about white supremacy, but we got to talk about how has it individually hurt you.
So, as I said, I'm not gonna. I don't have to.
But you can't answer for yourself. How does it hurt the group? How does it hurt black people?
Okay, so institution-wise, the stigma that they have, that the stigma of black in America still exists. The anti-blackness. And it exists in dictionaries.
Brother, you're just talking. Give us examples. Stop just using words.
That's what I'm telling you. It exists in dictionaries. Anti-blackness. It exists in religions.
Brother, come on, brother.
Anti-blackness.
Brother, come on, brother.
Brother, that's the truth.
Brother, come on, brother. Brother, come on. You saying the dictionary is holding people back?
The dictionary is full of anti-blackness. That is what we listen. Even in not arguments, discussions such as this, people will run to dictionary. Well, what does black say in dictionary? Black is a derogatory word, and we shouldn't be calling ourselves black because the Oxford Dictionary says so.
Brother, that's not an example of white supremacy because that's black people doing that.
That's a good example of white supremacy in the institutions that uphold that. The institutions.
Brother, I have never been taught the definition of black in school. Never went to school and someone told me.
You didn't need to. You didn't need to. They done the work. They done the work to tell you what black is.
No one ever told me that black was negative. Brother, come on. You got to come with some more.
They didn't have to.
Brother,
they don't have to. It's already. The work has already been done hundreds of years ago.
So you're saying hold on, let me get this straight. Because you're saying the word black in the dictionary is the reason black people being held back.
What I'm saying is that I'm saying that's just one factor. Not being necessarily held back, because nothing can hold us back. Nothing can hold us back.
Say that again. What you say?
I said not exactly being held back, but because nothing can hold us back, but it does hinder us. It does hinder us.
So
when I gotta talk to people that look just like me.
Give me another example, because I can't go with that one. Give me another one. How is white supremacy holding us back?
I mean, I hate answering questions like that, because if you don't see it, if you don't know, like, then I'm just wasting my time, because that's what kind of question is that?
Because you have a lot of black people who are thriving. So
thriving
yeah.
How?
You got a lot of black people, especially in your area. You got a lot of black people on their homes. You don't have a cluster of black businesses.
I have to jump back on real quick. Just
that's
because
not freedom.
of what. Hey, Creed, I just had to jump on here. I've been a little busy, but I had to jump back on here and say something real quick. Do you know that white supremacy is probably at its least existence right now in the world? You don't see it like you used to see it before because they're not in your face like they were before. You know, white supremacy can do no harm to us in any way nor form unless you let it.
I'll say
So
this: the main white supremacy, they done ingrained white supremacy in black people so well. They don't even need white people to run. We're the people who
yeah,
are keeping
exactly.
white supremacy alive.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
So
We're keeping it alive.
as I said, okay, but like I said, you can change what's it. Well, if you can, you can't change what's in reality that's just sitting in your mind, because
what
it might be
reality?
sitting in your mind, and it might be sitting in your mind,
What
but in
reality?
reality people are being actually affected because people actually believe, and they have the power to affect people's lives. So
we would have to change the belief of people to show people that
you have to change the institutions.
No, you don't. Okay? Let me use a quote of the Bible. There was a story in the Bible where Jesus went up to one of the disciples and he said, "How do you see man?" And he said, and the man said, "I see man as giants." So Jesus went up to the man and wiped his eyes out. And he said, "How do you see man now?" He said, "I see man as man." Not to get religious, but what we have to do to our people is to show them that everything that they thought was holding them back is in their mind. So we have to go up to our people and show them that there's nothing holding them back, because in their mind, like you, all of these stuffs that has been built up in their mind saying, oh, from the old people always telling young people, don't do that. White people ain't gonna let you do that. White people ain't gonna let you do this. We got to stop that type of talk to our people. We got to teach our kids that they can do. So talking about if we don't believe we can, if we don't try, how do we know if you can, if you can't? If you never try to run because you think there's an imaginary fence, but there's no fence there, but because someone told you all your life there's a fence there, but you don't see the fence, but they tell you all your life you can't go nowhere there because there's a fence. If you don't try to go somewhere, then what's going to happen? You all your life, you're going to be stuck in one spot thinking there's a fence there when there really wasn't one. Correct?
Yeah, but there is a fence.
There's no
fences. There's fences. Okay, so the Berlin Wall. Okay.
Brother, you familiar with the Berlin Wall got to do with us?
Because I'm just using that example, okay? So the Berlin Wall, it don't matter how much in your mind you think there's not a wall there. When you look up in the morning, there's still going to be a wall, and it's still there. And if you don't believe there is a wall there, you won't never know to tear it down.
Bro, that's a real situation compared to something else. There is no wall holding black people back. The only thing Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this: there's a wide open field for the man who qualifies himself. So black people have to now qualify themselves to go take advantage of the world. You cannot sit here and cry and scream about what you can't do, and you're not even qualified to do it. You have to qualify yourself, and then you can go attack the world. So it was like one time in San Francisco, black people, they was building the light rail, and black people was like, we want jobs, we want jobs. But in reality, it was like, what are you qualified to do? None of them was qualified to work on a railroad. So they gave them jobs holding the signs. Black people have to qualify themselves, and then we have to attack. We can't keep yelling about white supremacy, and we ain't qualified to do shit. Hello?
So I like I said, I'm not saying that there's, if you're talking about finances, and to assume that black people don't have money, because that's what you're assuming. I don't know why you're assuming that.
I'm
Black
not
people
assuming
have
black people don't have
black people
money.
have a lot of money. And in fact, matter of fact, black people have very, very little debt as well compared to
Brother,
others.
why do you keep
But that's what you're saying, because you feel like you're the free man. And that's why I wanted to bring up earlier is the institution of slavery was the
slavery ain't
ideal
nothing,
of the
brother? Do you even know a slave?
wait, let me finish.
Have you ever met a slave?
The institution of slavery was the ideal of the slave and the freeman.
What?
So when people identify as a freeman, which you are doing right now, nobody was free. That's why we're still talking about it.
Brother.
That's why it's still being brought up.
Okay. I don't even know where we're going with this conversation. But you're free to do whatever you want to do. You just have to be qualified. So what is you talking about this whole, that's the problem. Everybody always want to bring up some stuff in the past, but nobody want to deal with the present and the future. We're not slaves. We're not slaves. No one can prevent you from living anywhere. There's no law from preventing
Hold
you
on
from
a
living.
second. Hey, Danny, are you white? Let me just correct. Let me just make a little correction, okay? It
Who's
don't
Danny?
matter what this person right here. It don't matter what conversation, disagreements that we're having as black people. I don't want any white people to feel like, whether it's Kanye West or some other stuff, to feel like you have a place to make your opinion, to bring your opinion. Go into other white spaces and criticize them for what they've been doing for centuries here, okay? Don't do this.
Don't worry about it. I took him out. The one who said you work at Walmart, that's the one you talking about?
Right.
I got rid of him. Yeah. I mean, we just have
I don't know. They feel like just because they feel like we're having an argument. No, we're having discussion. We're not having a debate. We're having discussion. We're not having an argument.
No, that's the problem. You need to discuss stuff like this. But back to our discussion, my point is, like, we have to deal with the president right now where we can build stuff for ourselves. But the problem is, ain't no white people coming. We ain't doing that today. We ain't never doing that. But anyway, the problem is we're talking about stuff that happened in the past. There's nothing, we're allowing the past to hold us back. We're not slaves no more. None of us alive was slaves. You got a whole generation of people talking about what we can and what we can't do. You have to take accountability for yourself. You can do whatever you want, especially right now. We're living in like the gold mine. The internet is like the gold rush. The internet's like the gold rush. You could become a billionaire overnight if you know how to use the internet. But we're getting left behind because we're not taking advantage of it, because we're talking about some stuff that happened in the past. We're getting left behind because we're not taking advantage of the technology right now. We're getting left behind because we're still in the past talking about what happened in the past instead of taking advantage of what's happening right now. And we're not going to have a future because we're still worried about slavery. So 50 years down the line, while we was talking about slavery in 2023, we didn't build a future for 2050.
Okay, so whenever whatever happened in the past was just another year. And what you might consider past, what you might consider ancestors, what you might consider history There are people that's still alive that went through the different forms of oppression. It's still happening. You don't have to say past. You can wake up today. Hell, what happened back then happened today. It happened today in a different form. It
What's
might not
happening?
be
You
as
got to explain to me what's happening. What happened back then is happening today.
we'll if I have to explain that to you, we can have a. I mean, that's just going. I'll go in
You
depth
got to
on
explain it
that.
to me because you
And
just can't. You got to explain it to me because what's happening to black people is not what happened in the past was only happening to black people. What's happening today is happening to all people. So what is happening that is not happening to us? What black people are doing is not taking responsibility for themselves. We are spending millions of dollars, billions of dollars, in fact, in fact, I'll give you an example. We spent over millions of dollars to go see Black Panther 2. But we didn't put millions of dollars into our own school system for our kids. So who are we going to blame? Who can we blame? Who can we blame?
so, I never looked at it as we were blaming somebody. No, I mean, what are you saying?
Let's talk like this. What's the worst
What
school in Dallas? South Oaks, right? South Oak Cliff. That's the worst school in Dallas.
I don't know.
Okay. First of all, you got to look at it like this. Black people say the white man is doing all of this stuff to us. The white man is doing this. The white man is doing that. The white man is doing that. You have to start at the bottom first. The bottom is the children. So Elijah Muhammad said that the public school system was the killing field. If the white man is doing all of this stuff to us, why are you sending your kids to his school? If he won't treat you right, he won't teach you right. So whose fault is it that we would spend $7 million to go see Black Panther, but we won't put that $7 million into building schools for our children?
I'm for that.
Okay. See, that is responsibility. We got people who will spend more money putting money on books and not buying books. So we can't see everything that's happening to us is happening to us like this. The Holy Quran says, and I'm not a religious person, but the Holy Quran said when God called the devil to the carpet, the devil said, why do you call me to the carpet? I just made a call. They came. We got to blame ourselves for our behavior of not doing what we need to do for self. That's the first thing we got to do. We got to understand, hey, we do have control, but our control starts with us. Stop giving our control away. We don't have to go to the Arab store and spend millions of dollars. We don't have to go buy Nikes. We don't have to go buy Balenciaga. We don't have to go sit in the Chinese store and get our nails done. We don't have to buy fake hair. We don't have to do none of that stuff. And once we learn that we don't have to do that stuff and we can take that money into building our own economy, building our own schools that we can teach our own children, you will start to see a change. But as long as they got you thinking that you have to do that stuff, you're going to keep doing it. Because long as you got people saying, we can't do nothing about white supremacy, we can't do nothing, when you can, all you got to do is stop participating in it. That's it.
So I agree that we should definitely support our own in our nation. We need to marry each other. We need to love each other. We need to support each other. We need to build together. One of the biggest things that we're lacking is the power over the institutions. And that's why we talk about the ideal of white supremacy and people with the ideology, is because they, as much as you believe that we should love each other and build on each other, they believe we should tear it down. So, or the biggest is the culture that they want to impose on another person, and those are coming from the Democrats, the liberals. So of how we should live as as Black people in the Black nation.
But once again, all you got to do is stop participating. Like you said, when you send our kids to the schools, their schools, that's when our kids learn that they're inferior. I'll give you an example. When I was in school, busing started. Now, everybody was supposed to be under the same school system. So everybody in the city was supposed to be being taught the same thing. Well, I went to school in the Black neighborhood, and they wanted to bus us into the white neighborhoods. But what they said was everybody in the Black neighborhood failed the first grade because they said our education was inferior. They said the white education out in the suburbs was better than our education. But it was like, wait a minute. We were all supposed to be getting the same education. We're all in the same city. So at that point, they taught me that I was inferior. So my point I'm making is, why do we keep sending our kids to these schools? If we want to take control of our nation, of our people, we must offer our own schools.
I agree. Now, it doesn't change the fact that they do, property taxes, at least here in Texas, about 50% of your property taxes goes to public education.
But here's the problem with that. Property taxes, see, because if you pay higher property taxes, you're going to have a better school, right? So you're not getting the same. What's the rich area in Texas? I forgot. What's the rich area in Texas? There's one school in Texas. I heard he got a ball with it.
Was it Highland Park or something? I don't know.
Okay.
South Glen Curl.
Well, whatever it is, they're going to have a better school system than South Oak Cliff. Now, if these people really wanted to make this shit equal and they wanted to make everybody equal, what they would say is everybody's property tax will come into a pool, and we're going to distribute, because we're all in the same state, we're going to distribute the property taxes equally, no matter where you live, to make sure all the education is the same. The property tax game is telling you right there, they don't care. They want their kids to get a better education than your kids. They basically saying it in your face. If they really cared and they cared about everybody's education, they wouldn't care where the property taxes came from. They would equal out the money equally to all the schools, and everyone would get the same type of education. Correct?
Yep. Hey, man, we getting a lot of your chat is being infiltrated.
I don't worry about that.
You got any mods?
No, I don't worry about it. I don't even read the chat. I don't care what they say. They can listen. Ain't nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, but it's just it's I can't disagree with what you're saying. It comes off as if you're saying Black people are victim blaming, or unless you believe that, but it comes off like that, as if they're victim blame, or what it was, victim mentality. So that's how it comes off, and we know that we are victims. We are victims of the system that was created to dehumanize us, to make us seem inferior.
But let me ask you this: have you ever dealt with a domestic violence situation?
When you say dealt with, what do you mean? Was I?
Have you ever seen one before?
Yes.
I'm not talking about one person, his person. What's the first step of getting out of domestic violence situation?
I've never. I mean, I don't know what the first step would be because I've never actually been in one, or nor have I.
It's to make a choice to get out of domestic violence, and a lot of people ain't gonna like it. And I'm not saying that the victimizer is gonna come get you. And I'm not saying you should blame yourself for being in a domestic violence situation. But the first step to get out of domestic violence system is to make a choice that you don't want to be in it no more. And that's what Black people have to do. You have to make a choice. That's the first step. We got to say, I don't want to do this no more. And then we have to. That ain't meaning that because of someone. I said this before, and someone said, "Well, that didn't end my domestic violence." I ain't telling you that the person ain't gonna come after you, but you have to make a choice that you don't want to be here no more. You have to make a choice. You can go talk to everybody you want to, but until you make up in your mind that you're through, that you want out of this situation, there's nothing no one could do for you. There's nothing that you can come talk to me all day long. But if every day you ain't made up in your mind that you want to be free, there's nothing I can do for you. I can't do anything for you. I can listen to you, but I could give you advice. But until you decide that you want to leave the situation, there's nothing no one can do. And that's the first thing with Black people. Until we decide that we want to make the situation, until we decide we have more power than what we're going to until we realize we have more power than they want us to think that we have. We have more power than what they want us to think we have. We're not as powerless as they think, as they got us thinking.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I wouldn't compare DV to systemic racism, but
why not? Ain't that what this is? We've been getting our ass kicked for 200 years, and we ain't left yet. We constantly coming back. Oh, master, the master beat us. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. God damn, he already showed you your life didn't matter for 400 years. What you think now that you got a group of y'all in the streets, your life is going to matter now?
Yeah, but there's a more of a individual reason, personal reasons, why somebody would go through DV on an individual basis. So, and most people that go, most people, hold on. Most people that go through DV, we're just talking about Black people, okay? So it'll be the Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't use that as an analogy because that's something that's something for somebody. That's something for somebody. It's for a Black woman to say. If she want to use that as an analogy, that's her. But that's not.
Hold on though. Has the white man not been the domestic violence abuser of us? And don't we act like an abused woman? We constantly don't want to do anything for ourselves. He just did everything he wanted to. This system has did everything possible to us. And not yet one time have we tried to go do anything for ourselves. This system is like the abuser, because some women don't leave, not all women. Some women don't leave because they don't believe that they can, because the man tells them, you're nothing without me. You can't do nothing by yourself. Nobody wants you. I need you. You need me. Blah 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 blah. And that's what the system is constantly said. Every time someone says, let's go do for ourselves, y'all can't do nothing for yourself. You need me. And we believe it. We never leave. We never even try to go do nothing for ourselves. We don't. And then when we did go try, if you want to talk about the past, when we did go try to do stuff for ourselves, if some people try to go do stuff for ourselves, who came after them? Who came after us? It's so ingrained in our head, and most women are so scared because the abuser ingrains in their head that they will start jumping and the abuser ain't even in the room. And that's what we're doing. White supremacy is running so well that it doesn't even need white people to run no more. We're running white supremacy. So we got to make a choice. Either we're going to do something for ourselves or just accept what happens to us. That's the bottom line.
So yeah, I agree. I agree. So what so what do you think the target is? I ask you again, what do you think the target is? Do you feel like we're at war?
Yeah, we're at war.
So what's the target?
What do you mean by target?
So if you feel like we're at war, and we should of course have a war state mind, then what's the target? What do we need to target? What are we fighting for? Yes.
We're fighting for our lives. Don't you see it? They're trying to destroy us. They're trying to right out destroy us. That's what people don't understand. They're trying to destroy us. In the Bible, it says, come, let's deal wisely with them, killing the black man, killing the male child and sparing the woman. There's no need for the question of this question has been going on since slavery. What to do with the African, to do with whatever we want to call ourselves. Ever since they freed us and they had no use for us after they freed us, their question was, what are we going to do with them? You can go see this in, they have actual debates where they was debating, what the hell are we going to do with them now? We don't need them no more. Some people wanted to gather us up and send us back to Africa. Some people wanted to integrate us into the society. They integrated us into the society. Y'all only talk about the black codes. Go watch this movie called Mafa 21. And it tells you about the eugenics, how they tried, everybody who supports abortion. If you watch this movie, you're not going to support abortion no more. They tell you how the eugenics tried to get rid of us, how the Planned Parenthood came out of the eugenics movement, and how they targeted black women, telling black women that they would not get aid for their kids unless they were sterilized, and then they told them that they wouldn't give them aid for their family unless they sterilized their kids. And then if we come to the modern day time, who do you see mostly being portrayed as alphabet community in the community in the movies? Mainly black males.
Black man. Yeah.
Mainly black men. You ever watch that movie Moonlight?
No.
Okay. If you ever watched the movie Moonlight, it won Best Picture. It's no better than Boys in the Hood. It's no better than Minister Society. It's no better than no hood flick. But it had one thing in the movie that pushed it over every movie. It had that community in it. So they felt like, oh, this is worthy of best. I said, well, hell, if that won best picture, why didn't Boys in the Hood win best picture? So, and then what else are you seeing that you have never seen before on TV? You're seeing more black women with white men. When I don't know how old you are, but when I was a kid, the only black woman we seen with a white man was the Jeffersons. That was never promoted to us. You will see a lot of black men with white women, and I'm not saying that you can't love who you want to love, but this is by design.
Yeah,
Who have you seen? Who have you seen?
It's definitely excuse me, I'm sorry, but I agree with you, brother, 100% on what you're trying to say and what you're trying to tell us as a nation. Most of us don't get it, and most of us don't want to get it. That's the problem. We have become comfortable with where we are because we only judge ourselves from slavery, and we think anything above slavery is good. A lot of people just don't want to get it as to what these people, if these people haven't shown you over the past 400 years how they feel about it, you don't want to see it. It's crazy. We're crazy. We're crazy. It's what do they call that syndrome? Where you sympathize with your
Stockholm.
Yeah, and we've took that on to the 100th degree. It's I've been sitting here watching you, man, and on my other, and I couldn't go live, so I found you and went and followed you here, and just wanted to sit back and rap because I'm with you, man. These people don't see that when you do research and how the Tuskegee experiment and all of these things and it's a lot of them that we don't even know about. These people are literally trying to exterminate us, and we just don't get it. The mass of us just don't get it.
Yeah, it's the age of that. Like I said, from the time they freed us, their main question with us is, what do we do with them now?
Yep. What are we gonna do with these people? We don't really need them no more.
How we gonna get rid of?
Right.
They don't want to be. They don't want to be around. I don't. And a thing about me is, I don't understand. And like me, I'm 58, so I was born a year that the so-called Civil Rights Bill was passed. I was born in '64. We have, I think Martin Luther King, don't get me wrong, he was a soldier in this, but he's seen the great mistake we made I think integration was the worst thing that ever happened.
It was. I mean, if you even look at
integration, we had our own. We had our own everything, Black Wall Street, all that before integration.
We was more educated.
Yep.
When we got sent to day schools, that's when our education started dropping, because they not like Elijah Muhammad said, they not, if they won't treat you right, they ain't gonna teach you right.
Of course not. They're not gonna teach you how to overcome them or be equal with them, because they seen how physically superior we were. So it only goes to show that the mentality,
join back a little later.
Side of it is just as, it's crazy.
Martin Luther King. Yeah, Martin Luther King messed our people over. He messed us over, man.
He really I don't understand why what. See, back then they had a different mindset.
We had a lot more.
I understand it.
Yeah.
We had a different mindset back then. See, they were coming off of more of the cusp of the black codes, and so their mindset was different. So they were thinking, well, if we could just sit with mass,
our money would stand within us.
Boy, we dropped the ball. I'll say our ancestors dropped the ball with that one.
But you know what? I won't say it. If you think about it, it wasn't those people who came out of the black code. It was when black people started to go to college, because the first sit-in was started in North Carolina. That was started by 4 Greensboro people who went to college. Okay. So it was when black people started entering into their institutions, something started to change.
Yep.
and they
You don't
wanted to
see
be
that, man. They don't, man, these people don't, man,
because I say that because you
nah.
notice older
You
black
can't,
people
you
are
try to
hella
overcome
racist.
them, they gonna kill you.
Yeah, the back then the older blacks was hella racist. They didn't agree with Martin Luther King and all that integration stuff. They didn't want to be with the younger blacks. Wanted to be with the Stokely Carmichaels
Stokely
and
Carmichael, right.
the
Stokely
Huey P.
Carmichael,
Newton. They wanted to
or
be with white people.
Stokely Carmichael and Malcolm X, those type of feelings. And believe it or not, Martin Luther King at near his end days was starting to think that way as well.
Right.
When he sat down with
Keep talking.
Malcolm and the brother Elijah Muhammad, he started seeing like what it really was, and it had to be a financial thing because I sit back and think about it now that I'm older and I've done. Why would somebody want to sit down at a table and eat and spend your money with the people that don't like you and don't give a damn about you? I never understood that. That's like right now, if even in your own family, if that family member don't like you and y'all got a rift, you're not going over their house to eat Thanksgiving and all that. What was you see what I'm saying? We thought so backwards. Oh, I want to spend my money with Massa instead of each other. We just thought that whole thing backwards, man.
No, that's how we are today. I think the brother said we spend 90% of our time complaining about white people, and we spend 90% of our money with them.
Yep, and that's the truth. It's the God's honest truth. Boy, if we can't have a BMW and whatever, some Italian messed up French name, something on our backside, we ain't right. We crazy, man. We crazy, and it's something. We got to come out of that mindset. We have, like you say, we have to make it. It has to be a choice. I'm tired of this. I'm not going to spend my money on this. I mean, you just have. I mean, are you going to suffer a little? Of course. I mean, because you're coming out of the system, if you will.
Right.
But the gain is well worth the suffering you go through. I think so anyway.
But I mean, that's in general for everybody. Like, even if you take it off black people and you put it on everybody, the system can't run without you. But they got you so afraid that you need the system. The system needs you, and we're out here working to keep the system working. And all you got to do is say, "I don't want to do this no more. We ain't doing it no more." The system can't run without you. But in the black community, it's like if a few people say, you're always going to have someone run from the back. I'll do it, bossa. I'll do it, bossa. You're right.
Yeah.
We don't stand if not to get off subject, but it's still on subject. In this Kanye, this whole Dion thing, you don't have to
Kyrie and Kanye,
yeah. If you don't agree with it, you don't have to get on social media or wherever you are talking about F Kanye, do this, blah, blah, he's this, he's that. It's like build a rank and then someone talk to him behind closed doors. But you got everybody, black people, running to the internet talking about how they don't agree with these people, and that destroys the unity. You never see them when that rabbi, just for example, called us monkeys. You never seen one of them come out and publicly denounce him.
Right. Yep. You're right.
But we're quick to come out and publicly denounce each other. Like, it's like build the unity and we'll talk about it behind closed doors.
Well, see, this is my thing too. You're right. The way that we've been colonized and we for somehow in our psyche from way back to slavery and coming up, we've been taught and got in our mindset to not like each other. You know what I mean? From the brown paper bag, if you this color dark, you ain't this and that, and people wanting their kids. Oh, I want my children to be lighter and lighter and light. All this mess. All that mess was designed to geared towards us for us to be always separated.
Right.
They got our minds to where we like these brothers, these young brothers these days, man, with the gang banging and killing each other. They will kill each other at the drop of a penny. They'll kill you over 18 cents, but they'll look at them. They'll let a white boy walk through the name. And it's not a see. And this is the thing: is when you preach unity, it's not about hating them or any. It's not about hating them because the Bible even preaches get along with everybody, but be about your people first. That's what it does. Like all of them are about their people first. Why can't we get that? That's the whole thing. Be about your people first. It ain't
Even
about
though,
hating nobody else, but be about yours first.
but even in that point, it's like people who say we're all humans, we're all in this together. Yeah, that's fine. But if we don't have, if we come to the table right now, we will come to the table in the position of beggars. That means that we're at your mercy.
Right.
We have to depend on you, that you're not like the people who are doing this to us. But if we come to the table strong, we're not at your mercy. So
Right.
now we're equal. So you have to treat us like equals. If we come to the table right now, black people are coming to the tables as beggars. And now we at the mercy of the other races. And we all know that it's human nature that you're going to do what's best for yourself first.
Exactly.
So we got to come to the table equal to you. So that way we're not at your mercy. You have to listen to us. And that's what people don't understand when they say, "Oh, y'all preaching racism." We're not preaching racism. We know what the real problem is, but ain't nobody gonna be at your mercy and at your mercy and have to worry about, are you just like the same people in power?
Yep, that's the whole thing. See, and another thing, a lot of us got the word racism and racist and all that twisted. Being a racist is just technically not a bad thing. That just means you think good of your race and your people, that you want them to be on equal terms with every other race. That's all that is. That's not technically a bad thing. Now, if you into racism, which we technically really can't be because we can't control nothing from nobody else. So we can't practice. We can have bigotry and have we can react to how we've been treated and think a certain way about somebody, but that ain't going to stop them from living anywhere they want to live and working wherever they want to work. See, there's a big difference. We don't control anything of value, textiles or any of that. We don't control none of that. So we can't be, racist and tell people what to do and where red line these people here and there. We can't do none of that.
But you got to also look at this point. Like someone said, why is it always racism when we talk about doing for ourselves?
Exactly. That was the point I was trying to make. Right.
So you like us like we are. So when we talk about improving ourselves, you say we're racist. So what you're basically saying, you like us in the position that we're in.
Mm-hmm. That's basically what it is. They don't want us to be self-sufficient.
Right.
It's so bad that slavery set us up, and the things that they did over the years, and the Democrats with the government will help you. Look, I will give you this if you get the man out the house. See, they have geared us to be dependent upon them, and that's a problem. And that's a problem. They have geared us over to be dependent upon their system.
Go ahead, Ola boy.
Yeah, man. I just think, man, we have to be accountable for the things we do. And I've been watching the live, man, tonight. Man, I think like it's just crazy, man. When we try to come up, man, they just move the goalposts back every time, man. They just move it back every time. And they just
we need to sit down.
I don't know, man. It's just crazy, man.
We need to control the goalpost. Don't worry about their goalposts. Let's make our own. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's
Just like them, just like they know we're gonna bash each other. Just like they did Deion Sanders. That was him moving up. And his own people bashing him, bro, because he just moving up and making it better over there in Colorado. Oh, Colorado ain't never had no black coat,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Has the
his
Pac has
people
the
just bashing,
Pac-12 the
man.
Pac-12 has only had one black coach. I think it had the Pac-12 probably had two black coaches.
Yeah,
Tyrone Willingham and Brian Shaw was the only two black coaches I remember.
I think they just had one.
And that's the
I
problem.
just
Like,
remember
if you
one,
really think about
but I'm
that, I
still,
thought the goal
but they
was to get more black
our
coaches.
people just quit the bash instead of say, hey, yeah.
And just imagine now.
the goal
That's
the
sports.
goal was
Go
to
ahead.
to change it.
Right, but the goal was
No, you
everyone
go,
kept
Mr.
saying there
Reed.
wasn't enough black coaches in the there's the SWAC got hella black coaches. Every coach in the SWAC is black.
Yeah,
Now that's for white people
yeah,
to
they gonna get
scream
yeah,
out why ain't no white coaches in the SWAC. But the goal was there was not enough black coaches in Division I football. So how
yeah,
are
that's
y'all
it.
mad? How is people mad that now the goal is being met? That's what I didn't understand.
That's me right there. That way. But people talking about he switched up on them, he used them, and all that, man. It's crazy, man. And it's your own people.
I
Don't
mean,
nobody
what did
want
they
to be in
want? He
Mississippi.
accomplished everything he could accomplish in the SWAC. What do you want him to do? Stay there
Yeah.
for 20 years beating up on Southern?
Hey man. Hey man. That football stadium they had, that practice field they had, man, was trash. He showed you the field. Hey man, the next week Dion had them a whole new field, they name in the middle of it and everything, man. He upgraded them really. So the next coach come there, he can say, hey, Dion left it like this. And you just build on from that.
Right.
But these
He
people don't
gave him
understand that, man.
he gave everybody in the SWAC the blueprint. Now, if you just do it, that's on you.
Yeah.
You can't hold people's hands. It's up to you to do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Just like that little 15-year-old boy that got killed down there in Mississippi. I don't know you been seeing that lately, huh?
Yeah, I've
No,
seen that.
No, I think
yeah,
that one missed me. What happened?
Gulfport.
the 15. Yeah, Gulfport, Mississippi. It was a 15-year-old. He got shot at the dollar store.
Right.
Wasn't
Oh
it a
yeah, I
couple of
did
dollars?
see that. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why we ain't standing up, going down there? You know why? Because the the BLM, the Black Lives Matter, done let us down.
But
They they
that's
done let.
the other problem with that. That boy, this is what the whole conversation started with. That
Yeah.
boy is running around at 15 years old in a car with guns. So should we really get involved in that if like you're out of pocket, the cops come and stop you, but you put yourself in that situation. So why was you in a car full of guns?
Yeah, that and the mere fact that okay, I get it. We know that the cops, for the most part,
But hey man,
they
but
abuse
that's what
us.
that's how. Hey, but I'm. Hey,
Go ahead, sir.
hey, hey, God. But
You
these
breaking
new
up.
laws these states got, like Florida, Georgia, Chicago. Oh, Florida, Georgia, Chicago, Texas. You hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I hear you now.
You
I
can hear
do.
me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah, oh y'all hear me? Oh, but them southern states, they got these new laws. You know, these southern state got these new laws. You can get these guns, man. And
They made it.
so
They
they're gonna
made
be
it
the excuse.
easier for you to get guns.
These young folk, they getting all these guns in their hand, and they're gonna be the excuse now. They can go ahead and pop you on site like Illinois, the beginning of January. Shit, it's gonna be all hell in Illinois in January, man. They got all them new laws, man.
But a
They can do
15-year-old ain't
what
supposed
they
to be
want to
carrying
do.
a gun, though.
Yeah, they get killed.
Right.
And
So,
go ahead.
and I mean, have you heard about that story in the 14-year-old that killed two of them girls? I forgot what
People,
city that was in. A 14-year-old that just went in there and killed two girls.
Oh wow.
yeah,
I don't think I heard that one. Damn.
And then you had the story where a 10-year-old killed his mama.
I seen it
Yeah, 10-year-old killed his mama because she wouldn't buy him
over a video game.
right. And then
Wow.
you
A
had
video game.
then you had the story where the father, he turned off the internet and they lured him outside of his room,
Oh,
and
them
his sons
girls,
and his nephews killed him.
his own sons killed him. They were
Yeah, and his
throwing stuff at
nephew.
his door. He came out, they shot him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these kids are out of
Man,
control.
It's insane, man.
yeah,
It's
man.
crazy. They set this all set up, and believe it or not, people will say conspiracy theorists, yada yada yada. But when you research these type of things, and well, let me not even go there. We have to, you know what? We have to stop being outraged just by police killing us. We have to be just as outraged when Ray shoot Pooh. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If Black
But
Lives really matter, we
but on
have
the other
to,
hand, this is the
we have
thing
to
though.
stop it on that level if we can. At some
Yeah,
way,
you
you know
got
what
to.
I
I
mean?
agree with you.
It's we can't just come out when and be all rambunctious and want to burn stuff down when the police come in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it because historically we've been victimized by the police, but we've seen a rush with the gangs and just the mentality of our youth today. They killing each other at an alarming rate, man.
But
It's wow, it's bad. See, I'm
but
from Philadelphia. And man, you will not believe how every night I turn on and watch the news.
Man, they want to go down.
Night,
They got these.
every night we killing each other, man. Like there's no tomorrow. The youth have no value on each other's life at all.
That's around the world, man.
It's crazy, man. They have no value on life. Like they could just take and it killed me because then and just to say, which is just the truth, the other nations can walk through that neighborhood and won't a darn thing happen to them at all.
But you know, the one thing that's happening is they have took discipline out of the house. You
Yep.
have, especially if you go on this app, you will hear a lot of people asking, questioning, should you spank your kid?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these kids get a certain age, and if you ain't struck no fear in these kids when they were younger, you can hang it up when they get a certain size and a certain age. They're gonna do what the hell they want to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
they're gonna think they can beat you. They gonna think they can beat you up.
Right. And now these kids are doing whatever they want to do. They going to school telling the teacher, I ain't gotta put the phone up, because ain't no discipline in these. Ain't no discipline.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's not the same anymore.
But
And another thing I think might be wrong with these young boys is since the 90s, it is getting more prevalent. These single parent homes with the brother raising the children, and don't have nothing to do with
That
the
is the
father.
problem, because at a certain
That's
age, no disrespect to the
problem.
women, but as three men talking, at a certain age, it was just respect for your mama that you didn't do nothing to her. Because at a certain age, you became more powerful than your mama.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the truth of it. But nowadays, they don't got respect, so they treating their mamas like cussing their mamas out, pushing their mamas, stealing out of them, taking they don't even steal no more. They just take it in front of their mama, because what can she do to stop them?
They don't know. They don't know. No, they don't see. There's no man. That's the
They don't.
problem. There. When they and whoever that was that offered
Man,
them
no,
in the
yeah, man, 'cause
'70s, that was
the
the
men
break.
they got these days, man.
That was the start of the breakdown of our community as far as the family, the nucleus family,
I,
black family. When they came in and said, "Hey, we'll first thing first," they took all the industry out of the big cities where we could make a living. In the early mid '70s, they just started taking out all the factories, moving them wherever. And then they came in and said, now that we as men couldn't really get jobs per se. And then they say, okay, Miss Black woman, what we'll do is our father, daddy, the government will give you money, will subsidize you, but you got to get rid of the man. The man can't be. That was the start of it.
Yeah.
And the woman
Only boy, what we
made a
trying to say?
choice. The woman made a choice that, as far as for her kids,
nah, I let this
I
fool
need
talk.
this money, so man, you got to go, and I'm going to rely on the government
Yeah.
since you
That
can't get a
Only
job.
boy was trying to say something real quick. Go ahead, Only boy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, you could have finished Miss Wick, but I was just saying, man, like you saying that discipline, bro, that shit it go a long way.
Yes,
But
it
now
do.
they don't have no real men to look up to, 'cause all in the LGBT community, man.
Yeah,
They over there, and they
that
they 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 don't know who to look up to, man. The
yep.
pastor, he over there too, man.
I
He used
don't
to
know.
run.
Don't
They
even
used to
get me started on them pastors.
hey,
Don't
them
even
pastors.
down that road.
They just coming out every week with these pastors, man. They ain't got no. They just
Although
they
these
just
pastors teach for profit, man, they're supposed to be
yeah.
our
That's it.
watchmen. All they want is they'll give you a feel good thing every Sunday. You'll have the choir sing and
Yeah.
make you feel good, and the pastor played around 2-3 times, and you ain't
Yeah,
learned
that
nothing.
black church.
You
That
know
black
what I
church
mean? I gave church
handicapped us
a
too,
long
man.
time.
I gave it up too, man.
I
That black
don't, you know
church,
what I mean?
all
Uh,
that, all that hooping and hollering, and all that
that,
destroyed my people too, man.
yep, destroy. That's there. That's another. That's more or less another drug. We
Yeah,
go there, both of them. They go there every Sunday, boy, and suck it up. And then
you
Monday,
pay.
right back to doing the same evil, wicked things they did. You know, what I mean, it's just a revolving
Yeah,
door. I don't mess with
you paying for prayer, man. You praying for help. You paying
Hey, let
for it.
Spicy Jim say something. She just came in.
All
All
right.
right.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I just
How
want to
you
say
doing?
I've been knowing this like in the '90s, where they had the plan to break down to get rid of the black man for real, like certain maybe like 50% of the black man is in prison, half of and the rest half of the 50% that's left over is is gay now,
Yeah.
or are very feminine, where back when my father came up and and they was men, they did what they did, but they know how to act, and they was men's. And now they majority of the young men's now is
Yeah.
got so much feminine in them, where you think they want to be women and they jealous of the women for real.
Really?
And now,
Wow.
as I see, they kill
Yeah,
it.
they want to be just
I'm
like
sorry, they
y'all.
unaliving so many young women, where the women is kind of scared to even say, hi to them. And they kind of fearful of the men now, because if you say no to them, they ready to take you down.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then now they
Man,
trying to make
they
them
wearing these
look
man.
at where we we got the black women going against the black men. Oh, we don't like it because you're this color, or men's ain't nothing. Now it's like a whole they divide us, and they
Mm-hmm.
clear they set out, because like I said, I've been saying this since the '90s. What they go do, what they doing, and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Since I got on TikTok, I
And,
swear
and, and, and
I don't have a problem with
Mm-hmm.
people being gay. But I ain't seen so many gay men on here, and I'm like, are you serious? You know,
Yeah,
it
Obama,
just
Obama
Yeah, they
made
put a
made
wig
it
on.
quite
They put a
clear. Let's not forget. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was wonderful that a person of color, brown, became the president, but to me, he didn't do a
He
darn
effed
thing.
us over.
He didn't do nothing, man.
only thing he gave us
What
was insurance.
yeah, he gave us a little, but he also gave the LGBTQ community strength, and it's
Right, and then it's like I don't understand.
to
You know,
let
like
them
I
get
said,
married. They can get
I don't
married
have a
now.
problem with them.